The T is officially going back to work today. Close that up. It's finally, I mean, I would not be spreading fertilizer on, I might attempt to spread fertilizer on work ground today, but it wouldn't be my first choice. But it's dry enough to spread on the wheat. I went and walked the other field yesterday. It's dry enough, this field's dry enough, so. Yep. I like how you can see, if you look through the field, you'll see random skips. You can tell everywhere I stop to pick up a rock, because there's a little bit of a where the drill stopped and then started again. But actually, that's my bulk density right there. I forgot to get the bulk density when they loaded me, so I just called the guy down there that kind of is in charge of the fertilizer building, and he did a little sample for me. 65 pounds. Sprocket ratio, which one are we on? I would assume low gear. Yeah, 11 driving the 40. So we want this chart. And 65 pound bulk density, and I want, what did I want? Damn it, I looked this up before I left. Oh, sweet, it's still 251 pounds an acre. So 65 pound bulk density, about 4.5 on the gate. So well, the gate lock is, this is the joy of being, I'm clearly the first one to get this spreader, because I played hell getting the PTO shaft hooked up too. It's always nice being the first guy to. Well, the gate ain't going nowhere. For shit, I need to come back one. Let's do it. There we go. Should be that guy. I'm definitely, well, that's not quite enough. Need to go one more. Definitely shooting this up with some WD-40 when I get back. Damn it. There we go. That's the one we want. All things considered, for as late as I got it planted, and the fact that when the temperature finally broke enough for it to break dormancy, it was only like a sprig. I'd say this don't look too bad. Don't really, I've walked it a little bit, I don't really see any weeds yet, so that's always good. But anyway, might as well get after it, because we got chances of rain this afternoon, but they're slight, so I think we'll beat them. I don't think is as good as one behind Mom and Dad's, although it's still not, I mean, for the guys that were here when I planted this field, I mean, this field was ungodly wet. I mean, basically when I planted this, I had zero hopes of it actually producing anything. I figured I already had the seed, I already had the ground worked. I was like, well, I might as well plant it, and if it doesn't come up for shit, I will just, it'll be a cover crop and it'll just be a spring plow down. But it surprised me. It's actually not a bad looking field. There are some spots, this corner being one of them, like, I don't know if you can see the ground contour kind of right there. Now you can tell right here it's kind of green, and then, hold on, I need to get my camera screen back. So you got green right here, and then it's kind of brown right through there where it's kind of thin. Then there's a spot up there in that little cove in between the swamp and that woods, and then up on the other side of the woods where the field jogs back, there's another spot kind of along that woods there. That all these spots are spots that lay wet in the wintertime and for most of the year actually, and they were the spots that were incredibly muddy when I planted. Though they're kind of thin, and my initial intent was I was going to come out here and kind of figure out what I lost and just cut that out of the fertilizer plan. So like, it's a 12-acre field. I figured if I lost 2 acres, or say I lost 2 acres roughly, figure, okay, I'll figure on spreading for 17 acres of wheat instead of 19. So I came out here and walked this yesterday and got to looking at where all the bad spots were. I was like, well, there's enough bad spots out here that what we're gonna do, I decided I'm gonna spread the whole field. We'll fertilize the whole field to get something on it, and then by the time I get done planting everything else, get done planting beans and corn on everything else, this field should be tall enough and filled out enough to tell exactly where the thin spots are. I mean, it's you can tell now, but like figure out where the edges kind of are. And when I get done planting, we'll come out here and we'll disc the thin spots down, and I'll come out here and plant beans in the thin spots, because I think it's going to pay more to do that rather than letting the weeds choke the weed out. And that way we can get beans out here, get a decent stand, get something that I can spray and maintain and keep the weeds down. And then I haven't decided if I'm going to cover crop this after I cut the wheat or put double crop beans out here. But if I put double crop beans out here, then, you know, you'll have beans and beans. And if I cover crop it, then, which I'm kind of leaning toward the cover cropping, weather depending. If it's too damn dry, there ain't no sense in putting a cover crop down because it ain't gonna get established. But that's kind of the plan for this field, is let it go, figure out exactly where the bad spots are. But that's why I figured go ahead and spread the whole field. That way there'll be fertilizer here for the beans to use, although the program, or what I'm spreading on here, isn't exactly an ideal NPK blend for beans, but it'll do. Beans aren't super duper picky. And I can't put the camera on the spreader. I'm kind of disappointed in that. Naturally, I grabbed the one spreader they got. Actually, I think they got 2, but most of them they got down there are steel boxes. Well, I happen to grab one of them that's got a stainless box, so the camera won't stick. But if you just kind of watch going around this, especially if you watch coming up along this fence line and then up along the other one, you'll see what I'm talking about with the thin spots. bring any leaks. It didn't develop any strange noises, so I dare say the old shakedown cruise didn't go too bad. That's a nice way to get some hours on the engine before we start working it. So actually I ran out of fertilizer with about a half a round to go, but it was down in the low spot where the weed ain't that thick anyway, so I ain't too worried about it. So anyhow, I guess that's it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one.